Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what is going on? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology Retold action in the right-hand corner of the map, playing as the Blue Isis. It is none other than Tag's very own Recon, the Reconator. He's here to show us all about the top-level Isis in this day and age. His opponent today in the red color playing as Thor. His name is Soup. Thor is one of my picks for a god that I feel like is actually quite good against Isis in 2026. There's a couple of difficult sort of situations you can get into as Thor, but as long as you avoid those and understand what they are, you're going to be very, very good in this matchup. One thing that I like to suggest for Thor players is to really, you got to have a read on the situation. If you can get away with going Bragi, you really should go Bragi in this matchup. Skadi is very, very tempting because it gives you a lot of survivability options that you can sort of play around certain shenanigans. But what Bragi gives you is that swine array tech. It's a very, very key tech which effectively removes the Migdol stronghold from the Isis arsenal, because those herdmen become so strong that they can effectively take out not only the camel rider, but also the elephant, and also sometimes the chariot archer as well. If you go, I'm just going to get into some deep theory because we're in the early game, and why not? If you go Four City and you go Bragi, your herdmen become, I think, as fast, if not faster, than the chariot archer. And if you mix in Huskal as well, then the chariot archers have to be very accurate with their shots. And it ends up becoming this situation like when you're playing versus Aranos with the weightless mace catapultes, where yes, the chariot archer has got bonus damage versus the unit. Yes, the chariot archer would beat the unit with perfect micro, but nobody has that perfect micro. And if you misstep once, then the entirety of your army of chariot archers ends up getting obliterated. In other words, you really need to get the axemen in there to deal with those herdmen. And if there's axemen being built, then all of a sudden throwing axemen become a very, very nice unit. You want to be building those as Thor if you can, because it's a very key unit for your comp. And all of a sudden, you just have a very, very nice time. We are going to be seeing Soup here going for the new and improved sort of opening building structure. I love this opening building structure. So nice. You can cut your base in half, and all of the back of your base ends up becoming very easily walled off. For example, here, up to the top here, he can work up here and then wall off this food as well. Or he can wall back off to this position and back over here. And then he's going to be able to play around things like a new bite raids. Very, very nice. I really, really like this building structure. Super smart. Love it. On the other side, we've got Recon here. He's going for Anubis. He's got one monument. It looks like he's actually going for a second town center with his opening. I really don't like this prosperity from Recon, unless he's going to do something crazy like the fast 3 town center option. I don't like this prosperity in the slightest. He gets out early priests, which allow him to potentially go and grab some relics and light up the map a little bit, but this prosperity, I'm not sure it gives him anything extra. That's my take on this. The only other situation where I think an early prosperity is worth it is if you do a 4-minute advance time, which allows you to get your town center up around, well, you'll see exactly here. He advances for 416. He's going to wander over here and put the town center down. It allows you to get effectively what Recon's got, but just 15 seconds, 17 seconds faster, one villager faster. Unless you're doing that, I don't really see the point. You can actually see that Recon here is floating 179 gold at the moment, of which is roughly the gold that he would have gained from his prosperity. So he's just floating resources. Anyways, Barrack's gonna come down. I harp on this a little bit because the later prosperity is the strength of Isis. Excuse me, my throat's dying. The later prosperity is the strength of Isis. No, I'm actually dying. What the hell? Okay, I think we're fine. Yeah, the later prosperity is the strength of Isis in that I can get myself somewhere in the vicinity of plus. Now we have to pause. We have to pause. Sorry. Sorry about that. We're back. I don't even know what that was. We're all fine now. Anyways, I don't remember what I was talking about. I think we were talking about prosperity and how the usage. Oh, this is let's get back to prosperity after this, as Soup will grab his villagers and he's going to start getting himself a very, very nice amount of favor from this. I really don't like this favor usage or this Plague of Serpents usage from Recon at all. This is probably one of the worst Anubis usages you can use versus Norse. Look at the favor that he's got. And he's not... I mean, he's also going to kill off a couple more of these with his Herser, but like 22 favor from that. And you go, well, I knocked my opponent for a little bit of idle time. Not worth it. He gets access to Hammer of Thunder here. He gets access to Dwarven Breastplate right away. He can also then go into his Hall of Thanes here and live the dream where that's concerned as Recon. Okay, let's go back to what I was talking about the prosperity after that. That's... We want to... A couple of things here from Recon that you really do want to avoid doing versus Norse. First, against Thor. First is that early prosperity, because there's no threats early if it's going to be a Dwarven Armory opening. So you'd rather save that for the mid-game, drop it on 20 to 30 to 40 villagers on gold for a plus, instead of getting like plus 300 gold total from what Recon got. You had 10 villagers on gold, plus 300 gold is roughly what you get from that prosperity. He could get plus 600 gold, or plus 900 gold, or plus 1200 gold if you drop it onto 40 plus villagers. It's very, 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 very strong. Used later on. And then, of course, yes, this Anubis usage onto the Norse villages. You got idle time on the villages, but the translation of idle time of lost food into gained favor, that's not worth it. It's just not. Plain and simple, it's just not. I love this building placement from Soup. Oh my god. This guy is a man after my own heart. I talked about walling one time, and people take my idea and they run with it. I love this. I absolutely love this from Soup. Really, really cool. Soup now charging off into the middle of the map. Does get greeted by a lot of these Egyptian units here. He's got to be very, very careful running around the map as Recon getting active with his units. This is something that's a little risky for Recon here. Soup's not really macroing very well, but him being out in the middle of the map like this, if Soup had spent all of his resources, this would be very, very bad for Recon here. But luckily, Soup is banking resources and looking to potentially spend them a little bit of a different way, grabbing all the gold in this middle gold mine first, perhaps, then jumping over onto the chickens or something. He's not going into the Great Halls, raiding cavalry coming up. He obviously wanted to get some scouting in as he's trying to take out an obelisk over here, get some scouting in and see exactly what's happening. And Recon here might be getting Soup confused with the situation that he's in. Soup might be like, hang on, Recon's going for a full barracks army here or something like that, when in actuality, Recon's on 2 TCs. So while it's a bit strange, I think Soup's got a read on the situation. I could be wrong. I think Soup's got a read on the situation. Dwarves moving up to the top here, looking to potentially grab this gold mine. The obelisks do spot that, though, as he does come through, and the units over here will snipe another berserk. Recon is slowly but surely finding some advantages in this game, but Soup is now in onto the raiding cavalry, throw an axeman game. He really doesn't need those raiding cavalry at the moment, though. That's a confusing part here. I would be going from predominantly Herser throwing axeman at this moment, and the only time I start mixing in those raiding cavalry is once I see a handful of slingers actually start coming in. Otherwise, I can just get away with throwing axeman here and Herser. But nonetheless, fight's going to be coming in. Herser going to have to move up to the top there to chase those Anubites away. Priest now onto that back line. There is no usage of the healing spring here, which seems like a little bit of a mistake from the Supinator. We'll see if he's going to be able to make that happen as both of the Anubites do die. The third one's going to be getting out of here. This is such a wild attack from Recon, considering he can simply just sit back and enjoy his second town center, and the front line falls. Raiding cavalry do indeed beat those axemen. Slinger's going to be going down as well. Priest on the back going to be getting picked off. And the game here is going to be continuing along as axemen or medium axemen coming in. We've also got the survival equipment, spearman, slinger, and all the other good stuff coming through as Soup says, I can just keep on fighting. Big blunder here from Recon in the early game. Soup can just retreat into this position, drop a healing spring, heal back up, and potentially look to get to the heroic age here. And I think Bragi is still going to be the best option for him, but look to go to Bragi, look to go into Battle Boar and Flaming Weapons timing into the middle for even more value, pick off a bunch of villagers, and then maybe look to drop a Talent Center. Has to be his next sort of goal. He is still just going for every armory upgrade under the sun, which I like as an option, but the heroic age is something that's very, very important here, I think, for Soup. You don't want to get into an extended classical fight versus the Egyptians normally, on the fact that the Egyptian can just spam the units out and repopulate very, very quick. And nonetheless, the priest's going to come through, get that obelisk up. Soup still pumping units out, getting himself the berserks, all the other stuff. There's a mix of spearmen, axemen from Recon. So the micro in these sort of fights is really, really difficult on the like infantry, the frontline numbers there. Recon does charge forward here, and Soup sees his opportunity to get in here. I think this is a great fight for Soup. He's in front on military, and Recon here is going to be throwing away his units. He does split his army up nicely. Trolls on the back here. Going to get a couple of boulder tosses in to try and at least get some damage. A nice micro there from Soup to pull the troll back over there. As the military here for Soup is staying incredibly high. And Recon is in some big troubles here as he's going to have to pull back yet again. And, well, Soup is keeping it very, very much advantageous for him. He's making usage of his tech and his military advantage, whereas Recon here, he's not falling behind, so to speak, because he's got the economic advantage, but he's making his life very, very tough. We got the cave troll technology coming through as well, as the villagers for Recon going to be running out of his walls, coming up over onto this side. We see villagers sneaking off over onto the hunt, onto the bottom, sneaking up to the top side of the map as well, over onto this side. Basically, Soup at any sort of movement here around the map is going to get a crazy amount of damage done. But for the moment, Soup just sort of charging in to these barracks units might not be the best idea for him. So he's got to start thinking about looking for villagers to kill. Has he spotted the town center yet? He still hasn't spotted the fact that he's playing against a 2-town center ISIS, though I have to imagine that he knows that this is the case. I have to imagine. This, there he goes and sees the town center, and we'll see where to next for Soup as he's going to move up to the top. But realistically, there's just villagers are just begging to get killed here. And I mean, look at this. Here. Raining cavalry coming down to the bottom. Cavalry moving down to the bottom here as well as he sees this position there for some kills. Any amount of kills here is all Soup needs to do to keep things somewhat close. He comes in onto this spot. Villager's going to be bailing. That's going to be 1 village down. 2 villages down. 3 villages down. Going to be pulling away up onto the top side. 1 raiding cavalry was picked there, but Soup will happily charge over onto this position. He sees villagers over onto this side as the spearmen are in. Got to be careful not to lose raiding cavalry to pick off villagers, but he is going to get some kills down to the bottom. Some losses over here, though, so it's not the worst thing in the world for Recon to trade some villagers for military here to keep things close. And Soup will get out of there with his kills and drops a couple of raiding cavalry. Like I said, I don't think this is the worst thing in the world for Recon. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world for Soup. And he is actually going to the heroic age through Skadi. I was talking Bragi, better option. I think it is the better option here for Soup. Just on the fact that he has that option to go into the Hermit. You do have the option to go into the Hermit anyways normally, but he is Forcetti. So Bragi also is going to be helping out the Berserks as well. And there's not really any threat here from Recon. the frost can be cool to maybe stop an ancestors or something like that, but realistically, we just build a couple more Hersa, we get some Godian, and it's going to be totally fine. The Soup now gets himself his second town center, looking to charge forward and potentially take a fight here. I'm not sure if this is a great fight for the Soup. It depends on what the Trolls do. If the Trolls do get some good damage onto the front line there, as the raiding cavalry coming around onto the back. There's the heavy spearmen coming through. Frost does get dropped down onto this position, and you got to ask that question, what does that really do here for Soup, apart from just lock this army off? He will have Frost Giants. I think if he goes into a whole bunch of Frost Giants, it's going to be good, but it's not going to be any real different to him going into a whole bunch of Battle Ball, for example. But nonetheless, he's going to go up for the Hunter's Axe, which is nice. Getting him some Goaty to potentially deal with the Myth units and deal with the Ancestors. As the Spearmen up the top do end up dying. Hillfort's now up, and the Huskarl will start to come through. These Dwarves on the middle here do have to relocate up to the top. But after all is said and done, the game at the moment is pretty close. The big advantage I think that Soup's got is just in terms of the armory. He's got equal, well, he's actually got the military line technology advantage as well as the Spearmen. I mean, the Slingers don't have any upgrades themselves. Actually, in actuality, he could probably just go into a whole bunch of infantry here, and this could be really tough for Recon to deal with. Recon's got basically full Spearmen, but a whole bunch of Berserks, and that's exactly what Soup has recognized. A whole bunch of Berserks are going to be really good to frontline. Berserks, Hersa will be really good to frontline. And then, of course, I'm going to keep on saying it because I think it's always a good idea. Some Frost Giants here would not go astray. As Recon goes up to a third town center, and Soup will pull back for the time being. We do have the Levy Hillfort soldiers as well coming in for Soup. He's a big fan of this technology. I think it's very good. If you're at full pop, you should probably grab it. Allows you to get your Huskarls out faster. The Throwing Axemen are in a pretty good spot over onto this side. Trying to deal with those Slingers is going to be somewhat difficult, but the extra range that the Throwing Axemen get from that technology does help them out quite a bit, as Ancestors is going to come down. Soup does still have the military resource count advantage, and Recon is fighting underneath a hill fort. This can't be good for him. More units are getting pumped out for Soup, but who can spam faster is the big question. 4 longhouses only for Soup. 3 great halls only for Soup. Against 5 barracks, there's no Migdol. I think that's advantage Soup, actually. Generally, I'd say that the spammage factor, the spammage advantage, is favorable for the ISIS player or the Egyptian player, but in this situation, only 5 barracks, no levy. That means Recon actually struggling to get his units out here, even though he does have arguably an economic advantage. I'm not even sure if he does have an economic advantage here. Of course, his units are cheaper and they train faster and all that other good stuff, but I don't think he has an economic advantage here, and Soup looks like he's wanting to go through tier. I'm pretty excited here to see Soup. Soup is, he is the worst. Like, I want to root for Soup. I think he's so smart in so many different ways, but he just dropped 100 favor on a healing spring when he has a healing spring not a screen length away. In fact, he could have just sat back here with his army, had exactly the, and then he would have 100 extra favor for tier to go into Fenris Wolves. Hillfort, Migdol Stronghold up to the top for Recon. I'm just gonna start getting upset when people do stupid stuff with God Powers. I'm just gonna start doing it. Like, seriously, just save the favor and make Fenris Wolves. That would have been the play. It would have been really, really tough for Recon to deal with it. Even if Recon goes Osiris, then you can split the Fenris Wolves away from the side of Osiris and attack somewhere else. No problems. Great Berserk conversion here, but there's already some Spearmen up. And these Berserks are going to go down to all of the Spearman numbers as Soup trying to attack over onto this side. The mini Berserk Naroks are always good. Not too many units over here to defend the fortified town center, but it is fortified, so no problems where that's concerned. And Recon will get his Migdol up. We'll get this gold mine. And because this is the first... Oh, was that a... Hang on. Why not just wait for the Mythic Age? Okay, never mind. Why not just wait for the Mythic Age, I ask? Probably because he's got no other gold mines to go to apart from this one. Doesn't want to make the walking time over here, but if he waits for the Mythic Age, not only does he get an extra 3,000 gold, but he also gathers the gold faster, and I think it probably would have maybe come out with him being on top there. Anyways, not that important. Soup, after that Berserk Narok and failed to kill off all those villagers, does end up actually being behind Recon here as a little bit of raids down onto the bottom. We're pulling back up into the middle. Tier is in. Oh, this is actually a cheaper tier as well because he's got the relics. We just sort of missed those. Titan's Secret and Tusk of the Iron Boar in as well from Soup is obviously very, very nice for his Jarls and things like that. As Fimbulwinter will come down. He gets the Wolf Spawn onto the forward Talon Center. That's got to feel good as he's going to be charging in there. And for the moment, Recon will simply just ring the Town Bell. Wait, does he? Oh, he doesn't. He isn't a Town Bell user. Everyone and their mum likes to use the Town Bell to deal with the Fimbulwinter, but not Recon. As the Town Center falls. And, of course, while I was hyping up the Fenris Wolves, there is always this option of just spamming Dwarven Gold Mines. But even more so, I wouldn't get upset at spamming Dwarven Gold Mines. I get upset at the second Healing Spring when it's a screen length away. Okay. Anyways, Migdol Stronghold over here getting targeted down as the units will come through, get a couple of villager kills after the Fimbulwinter is over at 63 villagers to 85 those still as Recon with idle time probably equal to what Soup's economy is at the moment, but that's about it. Onto the top side, wooden wall going to go down for Recon here as the Berserks will come over and start building up the town center. And we will actually see some Fenris Wolves. Yay! I love this unit. I think it's really, really strong. It's a fantastic raiding unit. It's amazing to break through back lines of slingers and things like that once the priests are dealt with. So you can sort of distract your opponent away from all that stuff. As there goes the Son of Osiris. And we'll see if Soup decides he wants to continue to take this fight. It's not the easiest of fights to actually win, as the Son of Osiris will just do so much damage. But Soup's now grabbed himself a 4th town center. If he pulls back, makes himself a full population army, it's just going to be quite tough for Recon to actually pull back. Now, Recon has the option here to go into Mummy, which I would normally say is quite good, but there's currently 9 Goaty out. So you have to deal with those Goaty first and then go into Mummy. You always want to be asking yourself the question, how many heroes does my opponent actually have in their army? And then we say, okay, he's got none, let's make myth unit. Or he's got some, we'll make some myth unit potentially just to bait out more heroes or whatever, and then go into human unit. Or he's got a bunch, let's avoid going for the myth units for the time being and instead kill off the heroes and then go into the myth unit. There's a whole bunch of actual thought process needed into utilizing the secondary counter unit triangle in Age Mythology. Nonetheless, Fenris Wolves just chilling for the moment at 6.1 speed. Units onto the bottom here also just chilling for the time being. There is this gold mine down the bottom I wish Soup would secure, but again, he doesn't really need to because he's got the Dwarven gold mine spammage. But for the moment, 1,800 gold in the bank. We will see those Fenris Wolves coming up to the top to try and pick off some villages here, potentially stop a trade route, all the other good stuff. And Soup, he's actually going to get some Herdmen in as he sees some Camel Riders. I like that move. Nice reactive play from Soup. But he does need to continue to wait until he gets up to this 260 pop, and then he should be okay to fight underneath pretty much anything. He's deciding to go for a bit of a counter attack instead. But double Migdol's up onto this side. The Town Center for Soup will end up going down here to those catapults. So nice play where that's concerned as the Camel Riders going down. We are going to see the Priest coming through here. Now the opportunity to run with the Fenris Wolves is without question available. It does lose one for some poor micro, or poor awareness, one of the two. But he can get out of there, and now the Priests have to sort of play defense up onto this side. And the army can come in and take this fight over here. And that's exactly what Soup is going to be doing. Wasn't able to get up to the full 260 pop, however, before he lost the Town Center, so not going to be able to win this fight. Going to pull back for the time being. He's going through Berserker Gang. Champion Infantry pulls back to his secondary healing spring here to get himself just a little bit of resources back. As over onto this side, the Migdol Stronghold will survive with 103 HP as the Ballista says, I don't want any part of this. But Recon now going to be going for his town center. And we see Soup getting a hill fort up on the back. Meanwhile, back up to the top. Berserk's going to be looking for more raids over here. I'd love to see buildings, walls, and that stuff. There you go. Yes, Sentry Towers coming up to stop this trade route from happening, because this is the only real way that Recon can stay alive in this game, is securing a really nice trade route. His gold mine situation is perfectly fine at the moment, but it's going to dry up very, very quickly in this game. Of course, Recon could also drop the prosperity now if he wants for a pretty big amount of gold income. He's got 45 villages on gold, so that would be a pretty decent idea, as Soup on the other side says, just give me more dwarven mines, it's fine. As the Son of Osiris is back in, getting some damage done, and Soup not able to quite break through this position just yet. He needs to really be doing damage to that Son of Osiris, and he is attacking it with the Ballista, but so far, Recon has managed to make it work for the moment. As Soup, I don't know, maybe Soup's just gone AFK? Still got to train units? Sometimes that happens. Getting some more upgrades, thinking about which units he should actually be building here. A couple more Berserks going to be coming through. A couple more Huskarl going to be coming through. Whenever the Son of Osiris is underneath the hill fort, you want to try and right-click on it for at least some free damage. There we go on the damage there onto that Son of Osiris. You can see how much it takes. Might not seem like a lot, but he's just lost like 20% of his HP bar in like 4 seconds, 5 seconds before he ran out. So yeah, it's some pretty decent damage. As Soup now going to be saying, all right, let's go into Bravery Huskarl. Makes sense. My opponent's making Slinger. It's making the Camel Rider. Huskarl make perfect sense. There's no Axeman in here. In fact, Recon does really need to start building those Axemen. There's also options of doing some Garrison Micro here, and getting on top of that Son of Osiris is going to be going for it, as the Healing Springs also, funnily enough, the Healing Spring actually helping out here as the Son of Osiris does get picked off. Is there enough stuff here for Soup, though, at the moment, is the big question to actually win this fight. I'm not sure the answer is yes here. The Camel Rider Slinger army seems to be doing enough. Now we are seeing Axeman getting mixed in. Recon smartly making that recognizing what Soup is trying to go for. Architects is going to be coming through this Dwarven mine in the middle of the map. You don't want to be losing that. I'm surprised that Soup would put it there instead of just trying to put it nice and safe into his main base. But nonetheless, now going up to iron weapons on the flip side, Recon does have some very nice armory upgrades as well. Soup. Wait. How? How does he have 260? Am I going crazy? How does Recon have 262 population? Huh? No. Huh? How? It should be 245 or something, right? Wait. What's his relics? He's got Eye of Horus. Oh my god. +5, +9 population on those 3 town centers that he has. +9. 9! That's insane! It goes +9! What the hell? I'm not sure it's mattering, because the Thor army is so strong right now. There's going to be even more upgrades coming in for Soup. If he gets up to these late game Dwarven like Thor armory upgrades, then all of a sudden the Recon army is just going to start failing here versus it. You can see up onto the top, still trying to cut off that trade route to some degree. I'd love to see like getting in wall that, wall up here, force the trade route through this way. Hill forts coming up onto this side. Recon down to 179 population, as Soup's going to throw up another hill fort next to his healing spring. Got to make sure that one's there. This could be the healing spring that I made fun of that was the most valuable healing spring, but I can't tell how much health it's actually healed in this game. Nonetheless, a little bit of a raid over here picking off the villagers. Recon's economy is looking incredibly barren at the moment. Of course, he is producing 2 camel riders every 17 seconds or so. Is that correct? I think it's every 17 seconds. Alright, what if I click here? 18 seconds. Really? Is a camel rider 18 seconds? But the villager is 17 seconds. Maybe that's a remnant of the villager train time change. I could be wrong. It really doesn't matter that much because you can spam markets much easier than you can spam town centers, but I think that might have been an oversight from the old developers when they took a second off the train time. Nonetheless, we've got ourselves Siege of the Titans now coming through for Soup. Soup going to take out this town center. So that's going to be a huge population loss there. Now, 228. That's so crazy. All the Axemen are in, however, and Soup will need to be thinking about building a unit not named Berserk, not named Huskar, not tagged Infantry, because those Axemen, they are unforgiving. Absolutely unforgiving. Catapults coming through, going to be taking down the hill forts. And Soup stays and actually takes this fight. Loses everything. As he probably has to go back into Jarls now. Jarls throwing Axemen. Maybe Berserk Huskar still, but definitely mixed in something like that. Meanwhile, into the main base, the Titan Gate does get dropped. Now, normally when I go Titan Gate with Norse, I'll grab a whole bunch of villagers. I'm talking like 20-ish villagers, and I'll convert Berserks. And that'll give me more population to play with. It'll cut my villager numbers down to 80 or something like 80. And I will... basically, I'll just get an extra 20 population to play with while I'm spending 40 population on the Titan Gate. So I lose out on less effectively. And the villagers will come back in over time as well anyways. But nonetheless, the town center is back up from recon. His Axemen are doing nicely. Now going to be seeing the engineers, portable rams. This hill fort's going to be getting taken down as Soup does need to spend the time on this Titan Gate. Recon on the other side here doesn't actually have the... Never mind, he does have the favor for a Titan Gate, just does not have the resources. He probably should cancel the camel riders for the camel caravans for the time being. He's got 48, so he doesn't really need any more. We should probably be canceling them for the time being. And there he goes. And the Secrets of the Titans is going to come through. Coinage coming in. You'll see the Titan Gate onto this side, but he is not going to be able to stop this one here, especially if Soup just decides to pull some units off and take this fight. Not going to be happening just yet. But all the Axemen in here is a little bit scary. Another angle here for Soup would be to make some myth unit. Like, there's never a bad time. There's never a bad time to be a myth unit lover. Now going to be seeing that Dwarven weapons technology coming through. And even though there are Axemen here, and Axemen do counter the Berserks, it's looking like there just was not enough military in for recon. There's a catapult going to come through. That's not going to do a huge amount to the Soupster's Titan Gate just yet. Titan Gate for recon is going to be just about through. There it goes. Hill fort up onto the front, and Recon's going to be looking to drop his own Titan Gate somewhere on the map. Puts it up to the top. I like this positioning here from Recon, but he doesn't have a huge amount of villagers over. Yes, he does. Never mind. He should be completely fine here. This is going to be tough to scout for Soup, even though Soup's Titan Gate is going to finish in 30 seconds, and Recon's is going to be taking a very, very long time here. For Soup to find this is going to be quite tough. If he does, if he sees it and he can send, and he just right clicks his Titan over there, the game's going to be very tough for Recon to win. Very, very tough for Recon to win. Nonetheless, we've got ourselves the legendary Jarls coming through, heavy portable rams coming through up onto the top to knock down this position and take out the trade route. It's going to be brutal. Into the middle here, we do have the hill fort on the way. Titan is just about out as he comes out, climbs out of the ground there and is ready to go. What does Soup see? He does not see this. There is no way for him to know that the Titan is over there. But he might spot something happening as he comes onto this side. Going to be taking out the market, take out the other market here as well. Again, like, even after all is said and done, like, even with all of that population and all of this economy coming in from Recon, he still just can't get himself the 262 population. It's a crazy amount of room to build units for. So catapults continuing to siege along. Onto the top side, guard tower going down, fortified town center will now start to get cleaned up again. And, well, this is where things get very, very tough for the Reconator. If he loses that town center again and he doesn't have anything over there, now the Jarls are in as well, and the Titan can take out the Axeman. It looks like he's going for the town center, as he does spot the Titan Gate up the top. He spots the Titan Gate. He's got time. He's going there. He's got time. That's 87 seconds there. There's not going to be enough time for Recon to finish the Titan Gate. There's no way. All the villagers are going to die. What can you do? You can't body block the Titan. You can't slow him down. Well, you can snare him. You can snare him. 3.2 speed. I think he's normally faster than that, right? He's normally 3.8 speed. So you can snare him. You can't stop him. He doesn't care about your walls. Like, he doesn't even have to attack the wall. He can just walk through it. Titanic structure. He doesn't have to attack there. He doesn't have to attack it. He doesn't care. Say goodbye to your wall, good friend. And say goodbye to your Titan Gate. All of your villagers on the Titan Gate will end up falling as well, which is something that Recon can't really afford. His trade route has been taken out, which means no gold remaining, really. I mean, he can put a market down the bottom corner, I guess, but no real gold income remaining. And the Titan Gate is down. Soup does trade about 10,000 HP for the Titan Gate kill, which is perfectly reasonable. You can also look to come and grab this town center next. He's got all the resources in the world while this is going on. If he could swing some units up here to actually take out the priest and the pharaoh, that would be ideal. He's coming forward, and now Recon needs to start splitting his priest up the micro in order to actually take out a Titan as Egyptian. If well, the game's done. I was about to say the micro to actually take out a Titan with Egyptian is very, very tough. You have to basically, well, actually, kind of tough. You just go into spread formation, run away, and then click attack move. But you have to know that that's the case, and you have to have the units there. But that's the game, as Soup somehow, some way manages to get through a late game Eye of Horus ISIS 259 population of ISIS. 27 plus nearly plus 3 citadels. ISIS. Absolutely and unequivocally insane. An incredibly well played game from Soup. I do think there was some pretty significant mistakes from Recon at the start of this game. Namely, dropping Plague of Serpents here on the villagers is a no-no. We just don't do that in 2026. We know better. But apart from that, I kind of struggled to see the... he probably could have played a little bit more defensively rather than forcing fights is the other thing. But, man, a well-played game from Soup. He gets his dub versus the ISIS with his Thor. If you guys enjoyed this one, please make sure you hit this follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button. And I will see you guys in the next game.